Licensed games are the worst thing ever, am I right? Of course I'm not right. Licensed games are awesome. Now, not all of them, of course. There's definitely some absolute dogs out there that I think we all know. What's going on, everybody? I'm Jay, welcome to Square Pegs. And I've done a bunch of these videos in the past where I've talked about some of the best retro licensed games out there, but today, I want to step things up to the modern age. I want to talk about a console that is near and dear to my heart. I want to talk about the Nintendo Switch. We're looking at 10 licensed games on the Switch that prove that licensed games are excellent. We got Rugrats Adventure in Gameland. Yeah, a Nicktoons game, and it's surprisingly good, and there's a secret hidden in this game, too. Rugrats Adventure in Gameland really surprised me. So this was one that I featured on an eShop Hidden Gems a few months ago, I think 2 or 3 months ago, and I was just really impressed by it. And it was something that I thought was really fun. I thought it was really cute. I thought it was a clever game that actually featured all the different characters from Rugrats and gave them different abilities and different stats and stuff like that. And I was like, all right, hell, it's fun. That's really cool. And one of the things that got asked of me when I did that review was, did you check it out in 8-bit? And no, I failed to do that. I did not do that. But I am here to show you that beautiful 8-bit stuff right now, because this game has not only this beautiful HD visuals for the modern release, it includes the original 8-bit version of this game as well that was, I believe, slated to release on the NES back in the day. It's a really well-done platformer featuring the Rugrats. It's all taking place in the kid's imagination, which is super cool. So there's all these different levels that are just in the house, but you go into like this nightmare hellscape inside the fridge where everything is frozen over. It's just really cool. I am not the biggest Rugrats fan, but when I see stuff like this, I realize how charming that series was and how cool of an idea it was to create this game based off of it. And how neat is it to get a game resurrected from back in that day? It's really awesome. Fantastic fighting games are few and far between on the Switch, but this one, featuring a classic series from the 1990s, is worth checking out. This is Power Rangers: Battle for the Grid. I'm including this one on here because there's actually a new Power Rangers game coming out in a few weeks, I believe, on the Switch. That's a beat 'em up that looks really interesting, but since that hasn't dropped yet, I wanted to talk about, again, one of my favorite fighting games on the Switch, Power Rangers: Battle for the Grid. Now, I am not the target audience for this game. I don't like Power Rangers. It's never been a thing that I've enjoyed, never been a thing that I've been interested in, but there was just something about this game that made me want to check it out, and I'm so glad I did, because it's an incredibly competent fighting game that works great single player, it's fun multiplayer, and you can play it online. The graphics in the game are good, the gameplay mechanics are solid, it is just a really well-designed fighting game. Now there's some cool characters in here that you can get. You get characters from the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, you get characters from Power Rangers Zeo, Lost Galaxy, Time Force, SPD, Mystic Force, Jungle Fury, Samurai, Megaforce, Dino Charge, the 2017 film Shattered Grid, as well as Ryu and Chun-Li from Street Fighter, so that's kind of cool. It's just a fun game. If you're looking for something that features the Power Rangers, you can either go with this one or wait a little bit for that beat 'em up to come out, but you're not going to go wrong with this one because it is a solidly designed title and a lot of fun to play. I really have been enjoying the Warriors games lately, and one of my favorites is based on my favorite anime and manga, One Piece. This is One Piece Pirate Warriors 4 Deluxe Edition. Yeah, I'm sure some people might find it goofy that a guy in his mid-40s is just discovering One Piece. I am just loving it. I've been reading the mangas and I'm really enjoying it. I liked the live-action series. I'm dabbling in the anime right now, but I'm really liking the video games. And One Piece Pirate Warriors 4 is a continuation of the Warriors series. Just, we've got a zillion of them now. We've got the traditional Dynasty Warriors. We've got Hyrule Warriors, Fire Emblem Warriors, and One Piece Pirate Warriors. It just works. This isn't a deep game. It's move and beat the crap out of stuff, and really that's all you need. It's fun. It's dumb, simple, easy fun that is the perfect kind of mindless action that sometimes you just want to experience. Now, I could have gone with One Piece Odyssey, which is a wonderful RPG, but I wanted something, like I said, that was just a little more mindless, where I could just kind of turn my brain off and enjoy a game featuring some of my favorite characters where I don't really have to think. It's really fun. If you dig One Piece and you like the Warriors games, this should absolutely be on your list. And hey, bonus, it's on sale right now. As is One Piece Pirate Warriors 3, which I think is on sale for $4 for the deluxe edition. So if you're at all interested, check those ones out. Based on one of the greatest independent comics of all time from the brilliant Joe Madureira, this is Battle Chasers Night War. I did not have a video game by Joe Madureira on my bingo card for when it released in 2018 because he had kind of disappeared. Like, Joe has been doing art forever, and he's an unbelievably talented artist, but something based on Battle Chasers, a comic book series that hadn't been seen or heard from in ages, was shocking. And what we got was a very, very competent and fun turn-based RPG. It's a really well-designed game that features all of the main characters from Battle Chasers, the beautiful Joe Madureira art, and it's just a wonderful, exciting, and fun title that I just have a ton of fun with. One of the really cool things about this as well is that the team that did this one also did one of the games for the League of Legends series that came out on the Switch and other consoles as well, that weren't just the MOBA gameplay, but were actually like featuring different gameplay styles. So if you enjoy this one, be sure to look up the League of Legends game as well, because it's really fun. But I was really impressed by this one. I have a lot of fun with it. It's an excellent game that is playable on like every platform out there, so just keep an eye out for it. It's not a terribly expensive one, but it sure is fun. And it's always awesome to see an incredibly talented artist like Joe Madureira producing new content and making a fantastic game like this. One of my favorite hidden gems on the Nintendo Switch, something that is often overlooked and is frequently just forgotten about because it came out early in the console's release cycle. This is Transformers Battleground. This one kind of breaks my heart because this released right around the same time as a G.I. Joe game, which was horrific, but I actually really like Transformers Battleground. Now, is it groundbreaking? No, not by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a nice kind of like intro to strategy games for either, younger kids or people who have never really dived deep into a strategy title before. This is a great way to get started with it because it's XCOM Transformers. It's a very forgiving strategy game. It's based on characters that pretty much everyone knows, and it's a really fun title. Like, I actually really enjoy it. I consider this like one of those really awesome titles that no one really knows about on the Switch because it just kind of came and went. I mean, let's be honest, it's a licensed game, so people overlook it. It's based on the Cyberverse animated series. It features all of the voice actors from that, which is really cool. And the gameplay is, while not terribly challenging, fun. Does it suffer a little bit from the looks department? Yeah, sure. It's not the prettiest looking game out there, but as far as strategy games go, it's a really solid title. It's really enjoyable and something I've had a lot of fun with. A brilliant beat-em-up featuring one of the greatest licenses of all time, one of my personal favorite collections of characters, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This was my game of the year 2 years ago. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge. When it comes to incredible beat-em-ups, you're not going to get better than the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Throughout their history, there have been just countless, well, I mean, you can count them. There's not like an infinite number of them, but there's been tons of fantastic beat-em-ups starring the Turtles. But I think top of the list and number one is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge. It is such a wonderful game and such a fantastic beat-em-up experience that was not only just like well served by being something original and something creative and something fantastic from Tribute.mu, it was a game that has seen just continuous release and continuous support from those companies as well. We've gotten a ton of DLC. We've gotten a ton of really awesome stuff added to the game. And the game has received continuous support to make it just continuously plussed. It's really awesome. If you haven't played it, it is one of the strongest beat-em-ups on modern consoles. And you can get this anywhere. You can get this on any modern console. But it is just such a fun title with such a huge cast of characters and such creative level designs and just a loving throwback to classic Ninja Turtles action that I can't help but love it. It was my game of the year a couple of years ago. It continues to be one of my favorite games ever made. It's just nearly perfect as far as I'm concerned. What is basically the third secret Ghostbusters movie before we got to the Afterlife series? This is Ghostbusters, the video game remastered. Having been a Ghostbusters fan since I was a kid, Ghostbusters, the video game remastered was right up my alley. Now, I've liked every version of Ghostbusters. Yes, even the ones everybody hates. I just enjoy them. I think they're fun. So anytime I get new material in the Ghostbusters universe makes me happy. And this video game is fantastic because this really does operate as the third Ghostbusters movie because everybody returns. All of the original actors are there. This was written by Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis. So Ray and Egon wrote the game. You get to play as a new kind of nameless, faceless ghost, but well, I mean, you got a face, but a new nameless Ghostbuster, and basically you get to go on an adventure with the original four, and it's fantastic. The graphics in the game look spectacular. The gameplay is wonderful. It's light and quippy. The music in the game feels like it stepped right out of the Ghostbusters films, which is exactly what you want. And it's just a lot of fun. I really enjoy this one. This is one of my favorite kind of examples of why a remaster or a port isn't necessarily a bad thing, because this is served so well by being on the Switch. It's just a fantastic, wonderful title. Based on the hit animated series, the hit movie, the hit comic book series, this is one of the single greatest licensed titles ever, and a fantastic beat 'em up. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, the video game. Legitimately never thought I would see a physical release of this game. I was convinced that Scott Pilgrim vs. the World was locked on the Xbox 360 and PS3, and we would never, ever, 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 ever see it come through again. And I want to commend Brian Lee O'Malley, who is the creator of Scott Pilgrim, for keeping that fire lit, because I know for a while he kept hinting that there was something in the works, that something might happen, that something might come back, that we might see the Scott Pilgrim game resurrected from Ubisoft, and it happened. And we got a beautiful physical release from Limited Run Games, which takes a lot for me to say because I'm not the biggest fan of their business practices, but man, was this collection great. And the game is just spectacular. It is one of the best and most difficult beat-em-ups ever made. It is so faithful to both Brian Lee O'Malley's original vision of what the graphic novels were, as well as Edgar Wright's vision of the live-action film. It kind of blends both worlds beautifully well, while kind of giving you the comic book visuals. It's just a wonderful game, and something that is just so inherently charming and so inherently well made that I'm tickled that we got a physical release, because this is the kind of game that deserves that. It's a wonderful title, well worth picking up if you have not done so, and if you can't find the physical, be sure to get it digitally, because it is just a marvelous, marvelous game. This might be my game of the year. It is absolutely something that I've had a ton of fun with, and it's perfect. It's just perfect in every conceivable way. This is Marvel vs. Capcom Arcade Classics. Yeah, this is definitely in the running for Game of the Year for me. This is Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics, getting you a just spectacular collection of games. Now, I usually try to avoid remasters or re-releases as Game of the Year, but this one's really special. So you get X-Men Children of the Atom, you get The Punisher, Marvel Superheroes, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom, MVC2, and Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter. It is just a perfect collection of fighting games for me. I love fighting games. My favorites are the Marvel vs. or X-Men vs. series, just because I love the Marvel characters and I love them going up against the Capcom characters. I just think it works. It's fun. It's stupid. It's dumb fun, but it works. And this is just such a magnificent collection, because not only do you get these amazing games, you get these wonderful galleries and just this ability to dive in deep on these games and see incredible artwork and behind-the-scenes stuff and jukeboxes. It's such a wonderful collection. I can't thank Capcom enough for sending me a review code for this game when it initially launched, because waiting for the physical to drop a couple of weeks ago would have been torturous. I'm glad I have the physical now, but it's such a good game, and just it's such a perfect collection. I love everything about this one. Newest game in this video, and one of my absolute favorites, and it's technically a double license, because you not only get a toy license, you also get a license from Sony, believe it or not. LEGO Horizon Adventures. Yeah, the newest game on the list, and one that I really kind of had mixed emotions on going into. So I've been playing the LEGO games since they first launched back on the Xbox 360 with LEGO Star Wars Adventures. And I didn't really know what to expect with this one. First off, it's cool that we're getting a PlayStation property on the Switch. I think that's neat. But I didn't know how well it was going to translate into a LEGO game, because, Horizon isn't exactly light and happy. It's kind of a heavy game. It's post-apocalyptic. And what they managed to do was take that setting and make something that I really do feel is the best LEGO game ever made. They tried something new. It's not just a Destructathon where you're trying to find as many studs as possible to buy as much stuff as you need. It's really more nuanced than that. You play through the story of the first Horizon game, just kind of a silly, quirky version of that Horizon game, I suppose, and it just works. The game is spectacular. I have had so much fun playing this. I really do think this is the best LEGO game, at least since LEGO City Undercover, but as far as licensed LEGO games go, this to me is top tier. It is absolutely spectacular. I hope we get more like this. I would love to see Traveler's Tale and the Lego Company kind of go in this direction for their games. Now, every once in a while, dropping one of their classic Lego games like a Lego DC Supervillains or something like that is fine, but creating something that's a little more linear and a little more invested, I guess, in the actual storyline as opposed to just, here's a level, break everything, is really welcome. I'm digging the hell out of this game. It is spectacular. There you have it, folks. 10 fantastic licensed games on the Nintendo Switch. These are games I really enjoy. I've got a soft spot in my heart for licensed games. So it should be no surprise that there's definitely some games on the Switch that I love that some people might have overlooked just based on where they're from. If this is your first time here, click that like button down below, subscribe. I'd love to have you stick around, and be sure to let me know in the comments down below what your favorite licensed games are on the Switch. Until next time, folks, I've been Jay. I appreciate you spending a little bit of time with me. Remember to play more games, stay square, and take care. I'll talk to you soon.